What's going on, guys? This is Malcolm, and you're on Malcolm Talks once again, and I do appreciate you visiting the channel, guys. You know, life is all about survival. We know that. We know that. Especially if you watch things like Bear Grylls and all of these survival shows. You may not be living in the woods, and you may not have to make a fire and go out and hunt for game and skin your meat and all of these things, but it is very similar to regular life that we live, guys. And I'm gonna break something down for you real quick. What's one of the first things you need to survive? Well, one of the first things you need to survive, you got to ask a couple questions. What environment are you in? See, what I'm about to break down is a lot of survival information, but it correlates perfectly to success in business, success in life, success in making money. So hear me out on this one. I'm gonna probably call this video Guns and Goals. Because yes, I am an enthusiast when it comes to certain things. We ain't gonna go into too much detail, but I don't like to hunt. I like it for the sport. Now, when I say this, man, I just want you to open your mind up and hear me out on this. One of the first things you're gonna need is fire, because you got to stay warm in the woods, right? That really should be your first priority. You're not gonna go in the woods and immediately start trying to hunt, guys. Wow, that was an accident. Yeah, you're not going to go in the woods and immediately try to hunt. You're going to try to find a camp. You're going to try to set up a location. You're going to try to find a location where you can set up shop. I think this is equivalent to finding a niche. You have to look around and find what do you want to do and how do you want to make money. You don't have to figure it all out yet. All you need to do is figure out generally, what do I want to do? That's very important. It's very similar to finding a campsite. You got to walk around. You got to look at a few things. Some places might look great, but then when you do a little bit more research, nah, that's not really the spot. So you have to figure out what it is you want to do. And then once you find a location, now you got to clear the location, guys. You got to clear the location. And I look at clearing the location as, look at what other people are doing in that industry. What are they doing? What's the lay of the land? Start looking at what other people are doing and then identifying things that, I could do that. I could do that. As a matter of fact, I think I could do better than them at that. And ideally, you want to get into something that you're kind of already good in, right? You want to get into a business model where you already have some attributes that's going to make it a little bit easier for you. So you want to find a location that's on flat land, that doesn't have a bunch of bumps and hills and stuff like that. Then you want to clear that land out. You want to look at what other people are doing in that space, right? So once you find a spot, once you cleared that spot, which is equivalent to finding a niche and looking to see what other people are doing within that niche, then you want to go find wood. You got to go find burnable wood. And see, guys, let me tell you something. Wood is not necessarily equivalent to money. It's not. I look at wood as marketing. You have to begin finding wood. Wood is plentiful. The same way your marketing is going to have to be plentiful. You're going to have to start, you're going to have to start setting up your social media. You're going to have to start setting up certain things. You're finding wood. You're looking at social media. You're looking at You're going through a client list. You're trying to figure out, okay, who can potentially buy this from me? Who are my potential customers? You're finding a whole bunch of wood, guys. And then you get a big pile of wood. You get a big pile of potential customers. You're starting to set things up. You ain't gotten out one customer yet. I want you to understand something. But you're setting it up so that you have somewhat of a process in place to pull those customers. You have a place where they can go. You're starting to set up your Facebook. You're starting to set up your Instagram. You took a couple pictures. You're starting to set everything up. You're gathering your wood. Wood hadn't burnt yet, but you're gathering it. So now what do you need to do? Now what do you need to do, guys? Now what do you need to do? Well, the next thing you got to do, you got to figure out how's that wood going to burn? How's the wood going to burn? Did you bring matches? Do you have a lighter? Or are you going to have to try to rub two sticks together? See, this is equivalent to already having a skill within that niche. You got to already have that skill within that niche. And I look at this as communication skills. Communication skills, in my opinion, is the match. It's the match that's going to light and spark that wood. If you're the type of person that does not like to talk to people, if you don't like to network, if you don't like to be out there and be willing to tell people that you have a product or service, then it's not going to light. It's not going to catch fire, guys. You got to be willing to get out there and talk. Talk to people. That's very important. This is equivalent to the match. This is equivalent to something that's going to spark the wood that you began to process. Now that you have sparked that wood, you still ain't got no money yet. And I'm about to break all of this down. You have sparked the wood. The wood is now into a flame. The wood can keep you warm a little bit, yes. But only for a certain amount of time. Because what else do you need? You need food, guys. But let me ask you this. Did you go out and bring a bow and arrow with you? Did you bring a gun with you? Because that is actually the fastest way you're going to be able to procure food. Do you know about edibles? You know, do you know about plants that you can eat, fruits and berries and stuff like that? Or are you just gonna run around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to figure out what can I eat and eat something poisonous and end up getting killed or die out there? You need food, guys. And this goes right back to preparation. If you're smart, early on you would have already created a mechanism. This is what determines successful people. You will have created a mechanism that will allow you to procure food. What is a mechanism that allows you to procure food? Well, it's a gun. But you can also translate that a gun is very similar to a process that you have set in place. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Looks like we're a little bit slow, so I'm gonna go around. It's a process that you put in place. Because think about it, all a gun is a bunch of different parts. It's a bunch of different parts, and all of those parts come together to make a whole, and they all work together. So that when you go boom, you'll be able to shoot you a little squirrel, a deer, or something like that, right? You can purchase a gun. You can try to go make your own gun, but that's hard, isn't it? You ain't gonna be able to make your own gun, guys. A lot of times you would have had to put up upfront money to go purchase a weapon that will allow you to, okay, shoot something that you can eat. So before you even go out in the woods, before you even decide on what type of business you want to do, you need a gun. And I'm talking about, I'm speaking metaphorically here. The gun represents some type of education, guys. That's how I look at it. The gun represents an education. What skill do you have? Have you been educated on any high income skill? Do you have a trade of some kind? What have you done? What do you know how to do? Right? And it's kind of similar to setting up the campsite. Like, you got to look around at what's available and then think about, what do you know how to do? Because that skill that you've learned, that education that you have, is going to allow you to see the food and aim at it. You'll be able to aim at it. But then the question becomes, well, what kind of gun is it? Is it a shotgun? Am I going to be taking down small game? Or is it a rifle? Something that you can target larger game from a distance and take down bigger game, bigger opportunities. You know, I feel like the more time you put up front, the more likely you'll be able to take down larger game. Because see, a lot of people, man, they have a skill and they start a service-based business, or they start a, they go and work for a company, but they have not put forth the effort that it takes to be able to develop a skill, or to get maybe a college degree, or maybe an advanced degree in a specific area that's in line with whatever their niche is. See, let me just give you a lawyer, for example. A lawyer went to school for law. And then when he or her gets into their field, they already have a lot of background knowledge, guys, based on the things that they've learned in law school. So because of that alignment, they're going to be able to take down larger game with the gun that they've developed, with the rifle that they developed. It's a sniper rifle. Going to law school, going to medical school, being an apprentice under somebody that's extremely successful. This is Gladiator School, guys. This is a school that hones your skills and gives you the ability to laser in with a red dot on whatever it is on whatever game you're trying to take down. Because the game that you take down, the meat that you shoot, that's money. That's considered money in this analogy. So all of these things have to come together to contribute to the money that is ultimately what you want. Now, it's very important to realize that you can eat a lot of different things, guys. You can shoot a partridge. You can shoot a little squirrel running across a tree. But how long is that going to really feed you? Is that going to sustain you and your family? Probably not. I mean, you got to shoot a lot of squirrels. And you could do that, but it's just going to take more energy, more effort on your part. I think the best way to do it is up front, develop a skill. Do it up under an apprentice, or try to get you as much education as you can. And then try to use that education in a specific field. Go in an area where you're already aligned, things that you're already good at. That's going to give you the ability to develop that weapon that can take down larger game. The weapon is up here. And I want you guys to follow me on this. Because the caliber that you use in this weapon that you have created, it could be a number of different things. You could be shooting from you could go to medical school for 4 years. I mean, you could go to med school for like 8 years and do your residency and all of that, and go through all those trials and tribulations, right? When all that's doing is actually honing your weapon. You have left there with a solid sniper rifle. And it gives you the ability to shoot down large game. That's going to be able to feed you, your family, potentially other families as well. The only way that's going to happen is the upfront preparation. A lot of people, you know, they found a campsite, they made a fire, but it's hard for them to get food, guys. You know, they're barely scraping by. They're barely surviving. See, when you get out here in these woods, man, what you really want to do is thrive. You don't want to just survive. You want to thrive. But you got to build it. You got to build it from the ground up, guys. And a lot of people, some people get a handout. Some people, somebody will give them the gun. They say, here you go. I heard you were going hunting. Here you go, man. Take this. You might need this to go hunting. They might not know how to use it. They might be fumbling around with it. They might not know how to find a squirrel or to shoot a deer or whatever. Just follow me. Just follow. I know I'm going all around the world, but just follow me on this one. They may not know how to use the resources that have been handed to them. So although they may have a silver spoon, they might not necessarily know how to take full advantage of the things that they've been given, guys. So I think it's important that people like us, the people that work hard for what we have, we need to take care of what we have, learn how to use the gifts and talents that we already have and put them to good use so that we can take down big game and make big money in this thing, man. And I hope that you guys were able to understand that analogy. This is survival. That's what it is, guys. And you can sit down and you can sit around and mope and complain. And you can feel like it's not fair. Meanwhile, other people got camps set up. They're cooking roasted hog over an open fire, and they done built a nice cabin in the woods. And you sit and look and you're like, damn, how they build a big ass house? They build a log cabin in the woods, and I can't even barely build a tent. Well, it's a reason for that, guys. You need to look around and learn what other people are doing. Copy success. You don't have to be on the sidelines. Go out here and get you an education. It's not too late. Go out here and do whatever you need to do so that you can thrive, not just survive. This is Malcolm. You're on Malcolm Talks. Comment down below, man, what you think about that analogy. How many of you guys like to go out in the woods, man, and start you a little campfire, cook up something, and just think about life and listen to the birds and the things like that? It's very peaceful out there. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna holler at you guys next time, man. Peace.